So this is, I would say, not usually a video that somebody makes for their first video on their YouTube channel. But given the timing of what has been occurring recently in the stock market, I decided this probably would be no better time to start because of what is occurring right now with United Healthcare. And I wanted to jump into this really quick for you guys. This is a stock, along with just the rest of the healthcare sector, that has been absolutely getting killed in the stock market. As you guys, if you're watching this video, you probably know, and you're just curious, wanting to get someone's opinion on this stock. What do I think is going to happen? Is it going to explode? Is it going to go to zero? And I kind of wanted to share my thoughts, but just as an introduction, my name's Garrett. I wanted to start this channel as kind of like a journal in a way, just to kind of document my life and kind of like show where milestones are occurring in my life and where I've come from, where I think I'm headed, things of that nature, where I want to go. And along with just hearing other people's experiences around my age. I'm 25 years old, and in the cybersecurity space is where my profession lies. But just in regards to all aspects of life, I kind of wanted to use this channel, one, to kind of maybe give inspiration to other people that have maybe been struggling or contemplating what they should do going forward. Along with, I just wanted to also use it to see how you guys are doing. If you guys can leave comments or anything of that nature, I'm really curious to share ideas, thoughts, and beliefs, things of that nature. But really quickly, I want to make a video given how crazy things have been on United Healthcare. So back in March or April of this year, United Healthcare pulled their earnings and guidance report that they usually do quarterly, as you guys know, and that sent this stock absolutely plummeting. Following the news as well that this company is being investigated by the Department of Justice for Medicare fraud and malicious billing practices. So yesterday, as of July 29th, UNH released their new guidance and new earnings for quarter two, along with, like I mentioned, the guidance for going forward, where they believe earnings will go for this company. And this stock has been on the decline now, since April, but it really got killed yesterday with this earnings report coming out. As earnings have been on the decline for this company, guidance has been set significantly lower than where analysts were projecting. Everyone kind of believed that earnings going forward was going to be projected low for this company, especially as a way of sandbagging for the new CEO coming in, who was the former chairman and former CEO behind that, or before that. So not a new guy, David Hemsley, but he is coming back to head the company in these uncertain times. And they set earnings guidance very low, I think, to kind of set the bar as low as possible going forward, so that any kind of, I guess you would say, overperformance going forward is seen as a significant positive and will continue to drive the stock up. So yesterday, when they released that report, this stock absolutely got killed, again, because a lot of those earnings and guidance got slashed. And the whole thinking behind this for me is I do firmly believe that we are about at the bottom for this stock. I really do believe that. There are plenty of people that think this stock has got more room to the downside, which I guess would say is possible. I believe I've read somewhere that UNH believes that this DOJ investigation will conclude by the end of quarter three, so by the end of September. If that is the case, unless it is something like they are criminally liable for something and they are forced to sell or get rid of a big, large section of their business, maybe their Medicare Advantage branch, due to those criminal charges, I don't see this stock really tanking any further. I could see on that day when that news gets released, seeing another dip, as we saw yesterday, as I kind of saw that coming in terms of if they price their expectations in low, it's going to drive the stock down a bit for that day. And then today we are sitting currently, as I'm saying this, at 266 share price. We got as low as 258, I believe. And so you're starting to see a little bit of a comeback on this stock, and I do think it is going to continue to go up. Ultimately, for me, as an investor, this is definitely a long-term play. I think over the next 2 to 3 years is when you'll really start to reap a lot of the benefits when it comes to this stock. It's also appetizing knowing that the dividend yield is well over 3% at this point if you're buying at these levels. So the yield is kind of like absurd, especially for its history. This is the highest the yield has ever been for this company. So this is definitely a strategy where I'm waiting 2 to 3 years before I'm really expecting to get any kind of reaper reward on this investment. And I'm going to be making decent cash flow from it in the meantime that I can either use to reinvest into the stock or I can invest it into other things. I'm pretty aggressively allocated into this stock. I'm not going to lie. I do believe in it long term. And I definitely could see, when this investigation concludes, this stock really moving to the upside. Healthcare traditionally is recession resistant. I've been invested in technology for a while, the majority of the past 5 years, and I still do believe in technology. I really do. I do believe that AI will make a difference. I don't think long-term technology is even a bad place to put your money. I do think as of right now, technology is overbought, and so I kind of actually pulled out of technology, and I've kind of been reevaluating my investment strategies to kind of like diversify into more undervalued companies and things of that nature, along with a lot of my friends and whatnot. So UNH has been the biggest player for me, absolutely, especially over the past like 3 months. I am someone who's been fortunate in terms of I didn't know UNH was crashing until after it had already crashed. So the highest I've ever bought shares, which I bought 2 shares at 320, that is the highest I've ever bought at. Most of my shares I've been sprinkling in around the $300 range when we were sitting there for a decent amount of time. And on this downtrend going down to 258 here, I've been slowly buying in as we've kind of been on the decline. So I've been consistently buying this stock at $300 a share and below. I think $300 a share and below, anything below 300 is a steal long term. And I do think this company is going to get this ship over time turned around. They're going to, make pricing changes when it comes to Medicare Advantage and things of that nature at the start of 2026. They did announce this. So starting in 2026, I think they're going to raise premiums. They're going to adjust prices. They're going to get that revenue and earning stream back on the right direction starting next year. The rest of this year will be rough. I do believe that, but I think the DOJ investigation concluding will kind of also drive this stock price up, even if it's a bad conclusion. Let's say realistically they get fined with something and they're civilly liable for something. That's still the investigation concluding is going to give a lot of investors like peace of mind. Because ultimately what most people are worried about is that if they're criminally liable, they're going to be forced to sell some major part of their business. It's going to collapse even further, possibly get dissolved or things of that nature, or they just lose so many customers to other health insurance companies that, they just get killed. And I just don't see that long term. Healthcare in general has been really struggling with the same issues that UNH has been struggling with in terms of, higher than unexpected costs, treatments, things of that nature. But I believe all these health insurance companies are going to come in with new adjustments for 2026, and they're going to keep their revenue flowing, as you would say, as they have for the past like 20 years. UNH has been exploding. And so I believe it's going to continue on that path going forward. It'll take some time. This is not a quick, get rich quick, kind of method. But I do think it is going to grow over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. One last thing. Last week, regarding the DOJ probe into the company, UNH came out and they acknowledged that they were being investigated, which in the past, they denied these allegations. And some people are speculating, I guess, that the company did not know that they were being probed by the DOJ. When this report came out, it basically made it official that, the DOJ is investigating them. And I actually saw the article as positive, even though it killed the stock that day. The stock dropped over 5%. But UNH has announced that they are complying completely with the DOJ. They reached out to the DOJ proactively to try and get this, I'm sure, underway and get this behind them. So they want to comply with everything the DOJ wants to look at. and they've also started their own third-party audits with several third-party auditors. So they're really taking a strong stance in terms of proving to the DOJ that nothing was done criminally, nothing was done that was not by the books, that auditors can't prove. So that gave me more peace of mind as an investor, that I think, if a company is doing this much to prove their innocence and they're willing to be this compliant with the legislative body and the DOJ, that must mean that they're pretty damn confident that they're not going to be found criminally or possibly even civilly liable for anything. We'll see if the DOJ wants to charge them with something just so that they can save face. But, in the past, UNH has been investigated before. Earlier this year, there was an announcement that came out about there was a court-appointed special master that investigated, UNH and these allegations for malicious billing practices and Medicaid fraud and Medicare fraud. And this special master came out with zero findings. They believe that there was nothing there to prove that UNH was liable of anything. So, as much as you might feel that it would be justice for them to be found liable of something, I think it might just be the nature of, capitalism and the healthcare sector, which I personally don't believe actually works out too well. But, if expenses are high, healthcare and insurance companies are going to raise their premiums, they're going to raise their prices. And in a capitalistic society, where you're relying on competition of other health insurance companies to kind of level the playing field, that's just something that they can unfortunately get away with. Now we'll see going forward into 2028, that election cycle, if a more liberal candidate decides we want to put caps on what, health insurance companies can charge, that's definitely possible. I don't see that happening really within the next 2 to 3 years, the same amount of time that I believe this stock is going to explode, or maybe not say explode, but recover. But you never know. We'll see. Don't invest anything that you can't afford to lose. And again, of course, do your own due diligence and things of that nature, and don't take this as, set in stone, investing or financial advice. But I just want to give my opinion on the UNH stock and where I think it's going. Again, long term, I do think it's going to be solid, and I think they'll get things kind of back on track. But leave a comment down below what you guys think. Do you think it's going to, go to zero? Do you think it's going to blow up? Are you shorting it? Are you longing it? What's your thoughts? I'm really curious. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and that's all for now. Have a good one.